So today we're going to focus on hinge patterns. This is an ideal one for indoors because the weather's not looking too great over the next couple of days, so actually this will give you some time to drill down into those hinge patterns. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of what we're going to do in the session, there's a couple of issues we commonly see in hinge patterns like the deadlift. The first is an arch back position. And we get a lot of you doing this in the deadlift, and that translates to things like the clean pull. So if you're someone, when you lift, you get told that you're lifting your chest too quickly, it's probably because we've got a breakdown between what happens here and what happens here. So spending time perfecting your hinge pattern is a really great way of building strength in your deadlift and also your clean and snatch work as well, because that breakdown can lead to timing issues within both of those movements. It's the same with a lot of the other hinge movements as well. So in your hinge pattern, what we're looking for is think about these two things being connected. So when I hinge from my pelvis, what shouldn't happen at the same time is I shouldn't get that long or large back arch. So the first movement that I'm going to ask you guys to do is a hinge pattern with an overhead lift. Now, historically, I would get people to do this with a weight plate, a light dumbbell. I'm going to show you how difficult it is by using a pillow because in a hinge pattern, my core strength isn't so great. So what you're going to focus on doing, like I said, connecting a bit between here and here, making sure we've got no large back arch. So you might just need to tighten up through the middle. You're then going to imagine someone has chopped you right in the hips, and that's going to cause you to forward fold, but not arch. If you really struggle with that movement, you can take yourself to a wall and work on progressing your hinge pattern without just dropping back to the wall. So once you feel like you've mastered your hinge pattern, we're going to go into that forward fold or hinge, making sure we don't have a back arch, and then you're going to lift an object overhead. Now, as I said, historically I do this with a weight plate, but if you feel like when you're lifting it's causing your back to arch, you're going to stop the movement and start again. So the way I want you to break down this movement, if you're going to do 3 sets of 5, we'll call them rows, in a hinge position, working on maintaining that hinge strength. Your next movement is going to be what we call a seesaw row. And again, what you're concentrating on doing here is maintaining that hinge pattern and adding in some sort of core element to it. Now I want you to work light in this. We're going to work for a bit of volume, but this movement is about promoting strength in a hinge pattern. It's not necessarily about leg strength. But what you're going to do is grab something, and it could be a water bottle. That might be enough load for some of you. It might be a light dumbbell or a light kettlebell or a light plate. Okay. So again, connect the bit to here and here. Go down into that hinge pattern, making sure we've not got any back arch, and equally we've not got any back rounding. So I should be able to put a dowel rod down your back. If you've got 2 weights, brilliant. You're just going to row alternating weights. If you've got one weight like I have, then what you can do is give yourself a bit of feedback to see that you're strengthening that hinge pattern. Like I said, I just want you to work light in that movement, and you're going to work for 10 reps, again 3 sets of 10 reps alternating. Finally, we're going to work a single leg hinge pattern. Now, you've got a couple of choices with this. You can either stand on one leg and use a bodyweight hinge pattern. So all I'm going to do in this position is take one leg off the floor. Again, think someone's judo chopped me at the hip, but I'm connecting here to here, and I'm going to take my hand down to the floor, bring myself back up, balance. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we can extend this leg and we can extend the arms, use a wall, and come back up. And then your final progression is to use a weight. Again, it could be a dumbbell, a kettlebell, a plate, a water bottle if necessary, and you're just going to go down into your hinge pattern, making sure we don't lose the connection between here and here. If you lose balance like I did, it's okay, just start again, maintain your balance, have a wall handy or have something handy. And you're going to work 3 sets of 10 repetitions per leg. Get your scores on Sugar Wad, guys. Look forward to it, and we will catch up with you soon.